Thought I'd do something for anybody that's been losing sleep over this time. Kind of like a little insomnia medley. Freak out, I get monster mind scream when I beat out. My head pumps a hype steam like an ELAP. My pipe tight the night long. Beast out there, climb on the pylons and stare. It's not that I'm scared, I'm terrified. I ride the night sweaty. Eyes are wide, the mind heavy. Watch the spiders try get me. They get me tangled again. In full to all tarantula men. Their lairs is all damp and obscene. Small hairs on them, I scramble, I scream, I run. I twist, I rage. The fist comes, hits my face. The girders, bricks and blades. Everybody wants me dead. I swear I freak out in hot rooms, I freak out in hot rooms, I freak out in hot, I freak out in hot rooms, I freak out in hot rooms, I freak out in hot. Everybody's down the pub without me. 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 I freak out, I freak out, I freak, I freak out, I freak out, I freak, I freak out, I freak out, I freak, I freak out, I freak out, I freak. Everything's fine. Everything's cool. 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 12 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't tessellate. 1 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't tessellate. 2 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't tessellate. 3 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't tessellate. 4 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't tessellate. 5 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't tessellate. 6 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't tessellate. 7 a.m. the mind won't tessellate. The mind won't. There were real seas crashing out that picture. Megaton waves coming at us. And on the cliffs there's a black figure, soundless, yelling out great sadness. There are hands in the cracks in the ceiling, fidgeting scaly and small. They're very lonely, they want me. I feel them, their parents shift and giggle in the wall. The wall's livid, the street paints teeth lights on it. Orange against raw grey. A machine screams down lee side and I screw up and wait for the day. Wait for the 1 a.m. now, the mind won't tessellate. And then I thought I'd do something that relates to Bristol and the fact that I'm back home in Bristol after a long time being away, and the recent events related to Colston as well, which I was just whooping at. I'm going to see if I can remember it. If I fuck up, then that's fine. By a muddy river, in a murky town, I sit in sirens, seabirds circling round. I see a gull up on the rooftop without wings. I watch it edge into the edge in mad wind. It's a mirror foot within in a new chapter. In a whipping storm, in a cyclone of food wrappers. A kid is born. Now it's a trace of green. Now it's the taste of something strange and sweet. It doesn't heal, but it makes some peace. Puts a smile on the face of freaks, and it releases from the closet those afraid to breathe. And now we're marching in an army up against the stream, because we have seen that there is very little day to dream. 1 minute Sonny's deep up in the make-believe. Next minute Mummy's kneeling at his grave to grieve. Too cruel. We are cruel and we're angels. We kill life and give life with a movement of the arms. Chase dragons in the crucible of St. Paul's. Topple statues in a revolutionary dance by a muddy river. Then we chuck him in. My kids will not grow up looking up at him. My kids will not grow up in the ways I did, watching white friends morphing into racist pricks. Never, never. The muddy river raising up. I raise a rhythm and a bass line in praise of us. I raise my kids in a toast to the courageous ones who kill the devil with 100 million paper cuts, singing a change will come. In the course of all this craziness, I see my mates parade like they were made for this. And they grew up facing shits that I never faced. Still they're turning up the temperature for better days. Still turning up and tracing out the blueprints for new ways and new architecture, new movements for new stages. And you could celebrate the dawn. Instead of panicking and sellotaping doors shut. Instead of gaping gormless at the gold-framed stories of the slave-made empire that decorate your walls, look, we celebrate the dawn. We break them ornaments. We work making structures that we'd never made before. I see my children standing with us at this river, so I'll work until the waters come and elevate us all. I'm planting seeds at the end of the world. Listen, I'm making trees at the end of the world. I'm sipping tea at the end of the world. Yeah. I'm playing beats at the end of the world. Yeah. Taking to streets at the end of the world. I plant seeds at the end of the world. Listen, I start life at the end of the world. I start life at the end of the world.
Yes. Oh, give it up for DIZRAELI. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, pick up your mic and let's move this one out the way. And I would just... I've got a lot of things I want to talk to you about.
Oh, we've only got 8 minutes, mate.
I know, right, let's crack on. I've seen you perform so many times. I don't know if you knew that. I've been there in the dark.
We've definitely bumped into each
other
I know. Many times, yeah.
But I have always been amazed by your ability to talk about really personal things to yourself. And really, like, the audiences, you can hear a pin drop and they are in the palm of your hand, but also your ability to kind of make sense of the world around you. And I wondered if for you as an artist, do you write to make sense of the world, or do you write for yourself or for others or for both?
Why do I write? Let's start with the small questions. I do write to make sense of the world, definitely. And I think that's more and more the case. I think the madder the world gets and the more confusing and sort of paradoxical it becomes, then the more, for me personally, my writing becomes, an exercise to make sense of it. And writing rhymes is a really great way to make sense of things because it makes symmetry out of chaos. I think that we have like a really natural... I think rhymes have a really natural magnetism for us because we crave that symmetry. And for me, definitely, it's like when I finished writing that piece I just did, literally a few days ago, I just rapped it to myself over and over again because I found it so soothing. I found it so comforting.
There is something so therapeutic about, it must be about speaking poetry, but also for us hearing those words. And we've had so many incredible guests on this show already. And what has really come out of it is the fact that poetry has this insane ability to be able to kind of paint this picture and to cut to the heart of things in few words, few and many, but it just cuts through what you couldn't say with prose.
Right.
And it really helps to make sense of things. And your first poem, Insomnia, I actually couldn't sleep last night. So I was like, I was going, no, it's cool, I'm fine. So that definitely spoke to me.
So many people.
Yeah, and it's really nice to hear someone else speak your own truth and make sense of it. And I often get that from what you are saying and how frank you are about things. And am I assuming that comes from your own insomnia?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. That is from an album called The Unmaster, which came out last September. And it is basically about a bit of a mental meltdown or period of struggle that I had a few years ago. And that definitely included insomnia and just a lot of like anxious electricity in general in my body, whether day or night. So in the daytime, it would manifest as kind of either being kind of frozen by it or like hyperactive. And then at night, it would manifest as not being able to sleep.
And do you feel that album, did you write that, The Unmaster, for your own therapy, if you like? You were saying, the words are therapeutic, hearing those things and being able to say them over and over again. Is that why you wrote that, or did you want other people to say, yes, me too?
Probably neither of those, to be honest. I think I wanted to make an album because I'm a musician and
that's what you do.
That's what I do. And I was in the process of making the album when I had my kind of big wobble, and it kind of put me out of the game for several months, really, creatively. More than that, really. Probably about a year, actually. But the process of going to seek help, going to therapy and discovering mindfulness and group therapy as well, and all kinds of different new kind of ways into myself that I never had before, opened the door to the songs that became the album. And I tend to, my creative process is that I tend to just write all the time, constantly, and a lot of it's just total faff, and I'm
sure it's not.
And then some of it starts to draw out a thread, you know. So sometimes you look back over a period of 12 months, and the things that you've made look like a coherent project. You're like, oh, and just that I find, especially when I'm being really sort of true to myself and my experience as an artist, you'll find that things make sense as a kind of whole from a period. So yeah, I ended up choosing the songs from that period that really related to the question of madness, really. And it was in the year when Donald Trump got elected. We voted for Brexit. There, you know, well, like every year is at the moment, it's just like crisis after crisis.
Yeah.
And it's mad how we've become used to that. We've become used to a level of madness
this
and
onslaught,
upheaval.
this constant. Yeah. And it takes its toll on everyone.
It does, yeah. Exactly.
And that's kind of okay. And I wondered, because I know that
it's okay that it takes its toll. It's not okay that it's happening. And
it's not okay that it's happening.
That's my next kind of topic, is like, how do we fucking stop this? You know? Because actually, it's all preventable insanity, all of this, you know. Like racism and prejudice is a preventable insanity. Climate change is still just about a preventable insanity. Trump is a preventable insanity, as is Boris Johnson. And so, yeah, that's I feel like that's the next...
Is that the next direction
maybe,
you're going to be
I don't know.
in?
It might be a piano album about my knees. Who knows?
Well, thank you so much for coming in today. And yeah, I urge people to go and check out the album, because you were doing a tour, is that right? Which has just been... This is your tour. This is
sort of now. Right
where
now.
Would you be?
I wrote down all the festivals I was going to do this with my band this summer on one piece of paper recently, and it was pretty brutal, to be honest. I was like, wow, that's a lot of opportunities and a lot of money as well. And but I mean, you know, I'm not going to grumble, because I have it far, far easier than most of the world right now. So
there are a lot of people struggling out there, for sure.
On that theme, I would like to plug this T-shirt I'm wearing.
Oh, please do.
Which is Continuous Breath T-shirt, and it's a T-shirt I designed, and the 50% of all proceeds go to help refugees, specifically the coronavirus appeal. So,
and where can people get these?
People can get this on the DIZRAELI Bandcamp. So,
wicked. Go there.
Small gestures.
Get the T-shirt. No, absolutely. That's amazing. Thank you so much for coming in. It's been a total pleasure.
Thank you so much
for having
me. I bought this hat.
Oh, yeah.
At Shambhala.
Tell us about your hat.
I'll tell you about my hat. This is from Shambhala.
I did want to ask you earlier, actually, because I was like, that's a damn fine hat.
Yeah, it's a damn fine hat, and it's ridiculous, obviously. But I wore it in honour of Shambhala, which I'm going to be sorely missing this year.
Yeah.
We all
are. All the festivals.
Yeah. Shambhala especially, though, let's be honest. I could say that because I'm not part of the team.
Yeah.
So big up to all the lovelies who were looking forward to cuddling each other in fields this summer.
Oh, man, for a massive group hug.
Yeah.
I mean, how good is it going to be when we actually finally get out there?
I'm going to snog the fuck out of everybody.
Oh, yes. He said it. He said it here. Right, we're going to have to move on.
Right, sorry,
I've loved it. I've loved it. We've all loved it. We are going... Now, while our next band sets up amongst the jam jars here, we're going over to the home once again of the legendary DMC world champion, that is Mr. Switch. He's pulling yet another genre out of his bag, and this week it is all things swing.